So word has gotten out about some news that maybe you've heard of, and if you're not up to speed, let me catch you up. I'd recommend watching the entire video because there's a lot of information that I'm going to lay out that I'm going to keep simple for the sake of this not being a longer than needed video. So please watch all the way through, but we have to go back in order to start this story.
So you guys are asking, am I quitting BDO? And why am I quitting BDO? I'm quitting BDO because I'm simply bored. I'm not happy playing the game. I would give anything to feel what I felt as a new player when I first started playing this game because I loved it. But I feel like I've hit a brick wall in BDO and it's becoming harder and harder to play. You guys can sit there. You guys can say whatever you want. You guys can be fucking as rude as you want about it. You can say rip career, all that other shit. You'll be back, whatever. You know, maybe I'll come back to BDO and play it as a fresh player again and enjoy what I'm doing. But at the same time, like, I feel like I need to challenge myself again. And I feel like I need to push myself to do something I'm not doing. And BDO isn't offering that to me anymore. This isn't I found this game and I plan on playing it. I can't wait for this game to come out. I'm going to hard re-roll it. It's none of that. And I don't think BDO is a bad game. I don't think fuck this game. I think anyone who's a new player should go in and play the game. I think the game's fucking awesome. But as someone who's played an unhealthy amount of time and made an unhealthy amount of content in this game, I'm simply bored.
And while I've been gone, streams have been sporadic and barely at all. Hence the 2-week gaps you'll see from time to time in my timeline. And also due to having this beautiful baby girl who was brought into my life. And I'm glad I've had her and my amazing wife to spend time with as a family to get the breathing room and space I've clearly needed without realizing it sooner. And I'm glad I've had time to step back, touch grass, and be away from the screen. So why is this all worth mentioning? Well, I've submitted a ticket, curious about the gear that I put in my trash bin and if this was recoverable, to which it was. So I decided to recover it. And here is my hero in all of his glory and still needs a weapon, but don't look over there. And please also note that while this list of recoverable items had a Try Black Star Awakening item in it, it was actually a typo to which I was actually given a duo as that was what I had thrown away originally. And the feature of recovering gear from the trash bin isn't an uncommon feature. Being able to submit a ticket to do this has been in the game since I can remember starting playing for my first time. I won't be the first person who's used this function, and I certainly won't be the last.
I've personally thrown away my gear 3 or 4 times in the past and had it restored. It would be a totally different conversation if they gave you back the text that failed pin, right? But that's not what happened. That's not the case at all. Man Up knew me in 2016 as the guildie who would rage, blow up his gear, and like I'd be back in 24 to 48 hours, right? Like I was really bad about raging and just blowing my shit up and throwing things in the trash. I have personally discarded my Penzarka like 3 times.
And for immediate context and clarity for those who think it's 2 items only, it isn't, and this is the post from one of the GMs who requested their name not be shown. And I quote, "What is the rule on requiring deleted gear through the ticket submission that was deleted via trash bin? What rule allows players to restore a bundle of gear from the trash bin, and why would it interest PA to do so for any player?" And you can see I've highlighted the section here which says excludes items which could be recovered through the item recovery feature function within the game. And the response is, this exists so we can deny requests which contain 2 or less items so the player can just restore their items in-game and not burn their 2 recoveries a year per character. So you can recover 2 items in-game via your person. You can also recover more than 1 piece of gear via submitting a ticket. I'd also like to further mention that this wasn't part of some elaborate scheme or plan for content or some publicity stunt. I make content to an audience, and what I was thinking and feeling was made transparent to my audience, as I've always been transparent about what I'm feeling, even if my decisions seem radical. The gear that I worked for, an account that I built for myself, is my choice to do whatever I'd like to do with. And please bear in mind that this is actually now the 3rd time I have destroyed all my gear in my account. And in this video here, this scene was a story of a time I destroyed my account several times, only to achieve a single pen. It's actually one of the BDO videos I'm more proud of, and you can check that out if you want for what's probably an extremely relatable experience. However, it was definitely the first time throwing items away in the trash bin. And don't get me wrong, people are completely entitled to their opinion, both good and bad, including criticism to the harshest. But what I am bothered by is the misinformation and the goal to spread misinformation. It kind of comes to a shock that people are behaving as if this decision was some personal evil scheme that I've personally gone out of my way to do in order to attack the player base. And on top of that, people behaving as if I personally went out of my way to personally offend each person individually. So much that people have decided to make it a dumpster fire of misinformation and biased opinions, including coming from the moderators of the subreddit itself. And in an effort to simply post my ticket just for clarity and context, that too was locked, my comments removed, and the conversation in regards to it went against the rules while this biased post remained. You can feel free to pause through the video and read for yourself even if you care, but you gotta appreciate the middle finger response from the moderators, only for the reason of this thread being locked to be changed minutes after. Super professional. To further mention that anyone can really say anything they want, but if someone were to rebuttal differently and use harsh language, they would be swiftly banned from the Reddit after and ignored by its moderators. This whole situation is wild and out of control. Whether you like me or not, this was not the way to have the conversation. It's been misled, and that misled side has only been one-sided. And I know a lot of people are happy about that. So I give you the opportunity to hear what's going through my mind. And the first question is, why recover the gear in the first place if you don't want to play? Something that I've had a lot of time to think about was one comment I made on this video, saying,
I would give anything to feel what I felt as a new player when I first started playing this game because I loved it. But I feel like I've hit a brick wall in BDO and it's becoming harder and harder to play.
I'd give anything to be a new player again. And with the consideration of not having much on my account anymore, the idea of it actually genuinely seems fun and harmless, hence my inquiry in regards to my trash binned items. But with the thought of the idea of even wanting to potentially play again would warrant the barrage of opinions giving off the vibe that I simply should just never play this game again. To the point that I also shouldn't be allowed to, in a game that is built for new and returning players. Why do you think I played for so long? Because I genuinely loved this game, and still miss what I loved most about it.
I would give anything to feel what I felt as a new player when I first started playing this game because I loved it. But I feel like I've hit a brick wall in BDO, and it's becoming harder and harder to play.
It's also been made clear that on my way out, I've made a video trash talking this game, so I'll allow you to hear it for yourself. This is the literal first 2 minutes in the video, but I will keep it short, and I will also include pieces of the outro.
Yeah, I'm quitting BDO. Why? Because I'm simply bored. I'm not happy playing the game. I would give anything to feel what I felt as a new player when I first started playing this game because I loved it. But I feel like I've hit a brick wall in BDO and it's becoming harder and harder to play. But I feel like there's no challenge anymore. I feel like I've run out of things to do, and I feel like I have tried my absolute best to think outside the box as much as I can with my content in BDO. And it's becoming harder and harder to do because there's less and less to do. I don't think BDO is a bad game. I don't think fuck this game. I think anyone who's a new player should go in and play the game. I think the game's fucking awesome. But as someone who's played an unhealthy amount of time and made an unhealthy and made an unhealthy amount of content in this game, I'm simply bored. Say whatever you want. You guys can be fucking as rude as you want about it. You can say rip career, all that other shit. You'll be back, whatever. You know, maybe I'll come back to BDO and play it as a fresh player again and enjoy what I'm doing. But at the same time, like, I feel like I need to challenge myself again. And I feel like I need to push myself to do something I'm not doing. And BDO isn't offering that to me anymore.
And yeah, during the chunk of content in between, I had fun while I did it. We had a good time while I did it. We made jokes, but my message was very clear.
I would give anything to feel what I felt as a new player when I first started playing this game because I loved it.
I never even made a statement saying fuck anyone specifically, went out of my way to intentionally burn bridges and friendships with anyone, But man, it was a sight to see people who are friendly to your face have the opportunity to talk mad smack behind your back. I can honestly say I'm just more surprised that players take the time to make my own trash bin recovery a prime example of abusing a ticket system when players can indeed go through the exact same process, submit a ticket, and wait a while. Like, hello, are you there? And while other players clearly in this discussion have expressed they've done the exact same thing, well, no, that's not good enough because he decided to do it and he's a streamer. Stop. Not to further mention that I think this type of falsified information only diminishes the significance of actual exploits. Like, why don't instead I just sell my account or just buy a new one, right? Just get all juiced up through RMT like none of these holy saint players or even creators do it, right? Ah!
You could do a lot in BDO with money. Like, it's more than people think they can. At the start, I started buying normal payouts from guilds, siege guilds. 1.5 bill, 1 bill, something like that. And then I thought, just why not skip a lot of brackets and just buy an account? That would be cheaper. So I bought an account around 4 to 5k between that number. Can't really remember how much.
Since recovering the gear, I haven't even touched BDO, and I genuinely don't know when or if I plan to. All the gear that blew up from enhancing was not returned. The gear that I sold to my audience was not returned, with players even offering to sell that gear back to me for min price, to which I also declined because it's theirs now. And to be honest, the idea of a fresh start sounds so much more appealing to me than banging my head against the wall for what feels like nothing in game. And that's something I genuinely miss. And yes, the Striker rework looks dope. I've seen it. So giving us some thought, the idea does sound fun, but I'm undecided on my decision at this time, and the strong-armed mob mentality to ensure I don't play this game isn't going to be a deciding factor for me. I've clearly stated, and I will restate, that my goal is to focus on what makes me happy, because I haven't been, but I've had time to enjoy time with my family, give myself needed rest, work through some strong personal problems I've been facing. And at this point, I'm genuinely just grateful to be waking up and breathing and in love with this little person who lights up my world when she just looks at me. And these are the only things that matter to me right now. So maybe you'll see me on BDO again soon and making content. Who knows? I don't even know, to be honest. But this video was made in an effort to add transparency and being able to hear it personally from me rather than a snowball of conspiracy theories and guesses that are far beyond what the truth of the matter actually is now. And hopefully it's provided some context and just an update on what I'm up to. I understand that regardless, people will still be upset, mad for their own reasons, and others will choose to spread misinformation as far as they possibly can, even with having accurate information provided to them from the source itself, just for the sake of being toxic. And shout out to the people I was cool with that took the first opportunity to talk shit behind my back and celebrate me being down the second they saw it. Personally, I just want to say thank you to the few people who reached out to me during my time away and just checking up on me to make sure I'm okay, because I haven't been, and I think that's okay to say. I haven't been streaming as much. I've been turning down sponsor offers that have come my way because I'm just not in the right mindset. But however, at this time, I feel beyond better with everything that's going on in my life. And the few that have reached out have only added to it. So truly thank you to the few people that have cared, reached out to me. You guys rock. But due to the fact that this video is just a response to a super toxic blowout, I'm going to be disabling comments on this video because I'm done with this topic. The information is here for you, and you can make of it as you will. And with that, I leave you with a random post that I thought was just absolutely hilarious.